pot roast is one of those meals that's basically comfort on a plate. It's delicious any time of year, but it's particularly good as the weather turns cold and our bodies naturally crave a hot and hearty meal. But cooking pot roast is usually a lesson in patience. Taking a tough cut of meat and turning it into tender strands usually takes the better part of a day. Up to 8 hours in a slow cooker like a crock pot, or several hours in a Dutch oven. But an electric pressure cooker like an Instant Pot, well, that changes the game. Today I'm going to show you how to make a complete pot roast dinner in just a couple of hours. Hello and welcome to I Want to Cook. My name is Chef Matt and this channel is all about helping you be a better cook no matter your skill level. And today we are making pot roast. Now just a little pot roast 101 in case you're not familiar with it. All pot roast is a big cut of beef. Usually it's round or chuck. Those are the cuts that we use. And simply put, it's just braised in some liquid for a long time, several hours, until it becomes nice and tender. We usually add some vegetables with it as well. Now, as I said in that intro, cooking pot roast is usually an all-day affair. You know, you might do it on a weekend or something like that in a crock pot, but a lot of us just don't have time for that. And well, that's where an electric pressure cooker like an Instant Pot really does change the game. I mean, you can put this on, watch a movie, and when you're done, dinner is ready. And best of all, your friends and family won't know the difference. Pot roast is also one of those meals that's a really good value. So a cut of meat like this tends to be cheaper. And even if it's something like $15, about what I paid for this, well, that's still a bargain compared to eating out or ordering pot roast at a restaurant. So if this makes, let's say, at least 5 servings, you're only paying $3 per meal. To make this a complete meal, we're also going to add some carrots, some potatoes. I like to use the yellow Yukon or waxy potatoes for this. I think they hold up better, along with some onions, and we'll use a couple cups of water that is going to turn into a beautiful juice that you can pour over that pot roast dinner. Now, a quick word about browning. Traditionally, when we make pot roast, we sear it in a pan. We sear those vegetables and all. We get that outside nice and brown, and then we use a deglazing liquid to pour over it. Yes, it tastes great, it looks good, but honestly, that can take half an hour alone. And I just don't know if the effort is worth all of that extra time. I make this pot roast in an Instant Pot, and trust me, the results are absolutely delicious. You can sear this beforehand if you want, but I really don't think you need to. Okay, so let's put this all together. We are going to use these lovely vegetables as a trivet to prop up the meat. We've got some nice carrots here. Again, we've got some beautiful potatoes. I've already trimmed and prepped all these. So we're just gonna put that, and that's gonna lift up that meat. Then we've got this beautiful bottom round. This is about 2.5 pounds, and I should note that I'm using, this is a 6-quart Instant Pot. So a 6-quart is gonna work, an 8-quart's gonna work, and if you've got the smaller one, well, you're gonna need to make maybe some stew instead of pot roast. So we've got this meat in here. I've seasoned the meat. I'm also gonna add a little more salt and pepper just to the bottom here. This is some kosher salt. Then we're gonna take these onions. We're just gonna put these onions right over. Then finally, I've got 4 cloves of garlic. We're just gonna scatter these all about, a little bit of thyme, and finally, a bay leaf that we're just gonna plop in there. Now this is very important. You need liquid, and in this case, we're gonna use 2 cups of water. So we're just gonna pour this on the bottom. This is what's going to help this meat braise, and it's also gonna turn into that wonderful sauce. Now for a cut of meat this size, Instant Pot recommends about 20 to 25 minutes per pound. Again, this is just under 2.5 pounds. So if my terrible math skills are correct, we're gonna cook this for about 60 minutes on just high pressure using the manual mode. So we'll just put this in here and we will put it on manual and just let this thing go. Now again, I'm using an Instant Pot, but any electric pressure cooker is going to work for this recipe. So we'll let this go, and I know from experience this takes about 2 hours from start to finish, you know, coming up to pressure, doing the natural pressure release. I cannot wait to show you what this looks and tastes like when it is done. So I'll meet you back here in a couple of hours. Okay, the pin has dropped. That means that this is done, and we did it in under 2 hours, an hour and 52 minutes to be precise. Now it's time for the big reveal. So here's what our Instant Pot roast looks like. Oh my gosh. And look at this. It is literally just, I mean, it just comes right apart. It is so tender. So all that's left is to, well, make a big plate of pot roast dinner. And here we go. Here is our plate, steaming hot plate of pot roast dinner in an Instant Pot. I mean, it's right there on the name, Instant Pot. That's what it was like. It was made for this. Oh, look at this. That meat is so tender and so juicy and so flavorful. And look at this carrot. Fantastic. Pot roast dinner in under 2 hours. Okay, trivia time. Last week I asked you to identify this device, and many of you got it correct right off the bat. It is indeed an oyster shucker, an oyster knife, and this is what we use when we are prying those oyster shells open and releasing the flesh from the shell. For this week's trivia, who is going to be the first to identify this type of cookware? You can actually see through it. Put your guess in the comments below and I will let you know the correct answer next week. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Until next time, happy cooking.